Hi students. This video is going to help you learn how to use partial products to multiply numbers 2, 3, or even 4 digits by 1 digit. What is partial products anyway? Partial products compares to the distributive property or the expanded form method using the place value of numbers to find those partial products. Let's try 6 times 182. And let's start with an estimate so that we can see if our answer is reasonable. Since 182 in the hundreds place would round to 200, to estimate, I'm going to round 6 times 200. My basic fact is 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12, and then 2 zeros for the 100. So my estimate is 1,200. Now that we have an estimate of 1,200, let's go ahead and try to use partial products to solve this problem. Using partial products, you set up your problem vertically. 182 will be written on top with 6 on the bottom. Thinking of the picture that you used when you solved an expanded form problem can help you figure out how to do partial products. Since 182 truly stands for 100, 8 tens are 80, and 2 ones, or 2, I can multiply 6 times each of those numbers and get my partial products. 6 times 100, 6 times 80, and 6 times 2. In my expanded form model, those same numbers come from the boxes. 6 times 100, 6 times 80, and 6 times 2. To do 6 times 100, I think 6 times 1, that's 6, and add the 2 zeros for the hundreds. 6 times 80, or 8 tens, is 6 times 8. That's 48. With 1 0, it's going to make it 480. It's important that I line my numbers up correctly so that I can add easily. 6 times 2 is 12, and I just write that down since there's no zeros for the ones. I add my numbers, 2, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 6 plus 4 is 10, to get my answer of 1,092. Now, if I look back at my estimate of 1,200, it's higher than my actual answer. But then, the number I rounded to is also higher than the number I really multiplied by. Therefore, my answer is reasonable because it makes sense that since the number I multiplied for my estimate is higher, that my estimate would be a little bit higher. So, remembering how this relates to expanded form, let's try a problem with bigger numbers. Let's do 4,572 times 2. Again, I'm going to start with the estimate. 2 times 5,000, because 4,500, when rounded to the thousands place, becomes 5,000. 2 times 5 is my basic fact, and that's 10. With 3 zeros for the thousands gives me 10,000. To multiply using partial products, I'm going to write the problem vertically. 4,572 times 2. Now, I'm going to draw the box for expanded form just to help me remember the partial products or place values for this number. 4,572. And I'm multiplying all of that times 2. So I'd remember that 4,572 is 4 thousands, 5 hundreds, 7 tens, and 2 ones. And I'm going to multiply my 2 by each of those numbers. 2 times 4 thousands is 8 thousands. 2 times 5 hundreds is 10 hundreds, which is also 1,000. 2 times 7 tens, or 70, is 14 tens, or 140. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now, I want to add my partial products to make sure that they all line up. 4 and 4 and 1 and 8 plus 1 is 9 gives me the answer 9,144. So when you do partial products, you don't have to draw the place value box. It's there to help you. Why don't you pause this video now and solve this problem? If drawing the expanded form box helps you remember how to break apart 682, then do that, but you don't need to. Don't forget to estimate to see if your answer is reasonable when you're done. Pause the video now, then replay to check your work. Let's start with our estimate. 682, rounded to the hundreds place, rounds to 700, since it's a 6 in the hundreds place, and the number next to it is an 8. 5 or more raise the score. So my estimate is going to be 700 times 9. And my basic fact, 7 times 9, that's 63. When I put in the 2 zeros for the hundreds, that gives me 63 hundredths, or 6,300. Now on to the problem. I'm going to solve 682 times 9 using partial products. I'm going to remember that 682 is 6 hundreds, 8 tens or 80, and 2 ones. I start by multiplying 9 times 6 hundreds. 9 times 6, that's 54. And then with 2 zeros, it's 5,400, or 5,400. 9 times 8, that's 72. With 1 zero for the tens, it's 720. And 9 times 2 is 18. I'm going to add all my partial products to get 8. 2 plus 1, 3. 7 plus 4, 11, and I regroup my 1. And 5 plus 1, 6, giving me the answer of 6,138. Now let's look. My estimate, 6,300, is higher than my exact answer, 6,100. My rounded number, 700, is also higher than the number I multiplied by 682. Since 6,138 is close to 6,300, and since 700 and 6,300 are both greater than 682 and 6,138, I can say that my answer is reasonable. Here's another example. Try this one now. Don't forget to estimate to check your work. Then replay and check. Pause the video now. Let's start with the estimate. 4,852 rounds to 5,000. If I multiply 5,000 times 3, 5 times 3 is 15. 3 zeros for the thousands. I have 15,000. To solve using partial products, I do 4,852 times 3. And I take apart 4,852 into 4 thousands, 8 hundreds, 5 tens, and 2 ones. 3 times 4 thousandths is 12 thousandths. 3 times 8 hundredths. 3 times 8 is 24, so that's 24 hundredths, or 2,400. 3 times 5 tenths, or 50, is 15, with the 10 makes it 150. And 3 times 2 is 6. I add my partial products, 6, 5, 5, 4, 1, and get an answer of 14,556. I see my estimate is higher than my exact answer, but they're close together. My number I multiplied with for my estimate is also higher than the number I multiplied by for the exact answer, making my answer reasonable. Now try it in a word problem. Mrs. Jackson bought 6 gallons of juice for a party. Each gallon had 16 cups. If 3 cups of juice were left over, how many cups did people drink at the party? In this problem, I see that Mrs. Jackson bought 6 gallons of juice and that each gallon had 16 cups. So if I picture this in my head, I picture 6 gallons and 16 in each. To find out how many cups that is, I'm going to multiply 16 times 6. 16 breaks apart into 10 and 6. So 6 times 10 is 60, and 6 times 6 is 36. When I add those together, I get 96. So Mrs. Jackson bought 96 cups of juice. But the problem doesn't ask me how many cups of juice she brought. It asks me how many cups people drank at the party. It tells me that 3 cups of juice were left over. If there were only 3 cups of juice left over, and she bought 96 cups, 96 minus the 3 that are left over will tell me how many cups people drank, and that answer is 93. So the people at the party drank 93 cups of juice, or multiple choice option D. It's time for you to try some practice on your own. Open your textbook to page 71 and 72. I'd like you to complete all the even-numbered problems on this page as practice. And then make sure to check with your teacher to see what you should do tonight for homework.